Quando Rondo has avoided prison for a while, but now he's facing 3 years behind bars over a serious situation. In December 2024, news broke that he was sentenced for conspiracy to possess and distribute marijuana. The prosecutor wanted him to serve 37 months and pay a $50,000 fine, while his team asked for just 24 months. Quando's lawyer mentioned that he's leaving the streets behind, despite growing up in a tough environment. In the end, the judge sentenced him to 33 months and a $40,000 fine. After the sentence was handed down, Quando made a statement, saying he wants to be a better role model for his fans and took responsibility for his actions.
I did the wrong thing, and I'm getting punished for it, so I want y'all to know that you actually get punished for doing wrong things. Just do the right thing.
The judge mentioned that even though Quando isn't involved in gang activity anymore, he was still part of a well-organized drug-selling operation. Some sources say that Quando even sold bags of weed with QR codes that linked to his music. Being locked up for nearly 3 years is tough, but Quando told WJCL 22 News.
It's enough time to really sit down, rehabilitate myself, come up with some better plans, come out and move forward for my family and friends.
Quando Rondo is heading to prison in January 2025, and after serving his sentence, he'll still have 3 years of supervised release. During that time, he'll need to pass drug tests, undergo mental health treatment, and avoid contact with anyone involved in gangs. While 3 years might seem like a lot, some people believe it could mark the end of his rap career. Back in June 2023, Quando, along with 18 others, was arrested in Georgia on a gang-related indictment. Authorities were targeting the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, and they claimed that Quando was one of the key players. According to the indictment, he was driving across Georgia to move drugs. While some of his friends took the money to a supplier in Atlanta, Quando posted a $100,000 bond, but not long after, he allegedly overdosed and crashed his car. The prosecutors wanted to revoke his bond, but the judge allowed him to stay out on bond with a restriction on driving until his trial. During this time, Quando expressed his desire to improve, even posting a letter to his hometown of Savannah. He talked about loving the city and wanting to be a better role model for its youth. He admitted he hadn't always made the best choices, but he seemed committed to turning his life around. However, things got worse for Quando. In December 2023, he was pulled over, and it wasn't just a regular traffic stop. Local police in Georgia were working with federal authorities, and Quando and his friends were charged with intent to distribute fentanyl, cocaine, and more. Initially facing 20 years, Quando eventually pled guilty, and the charges for cocaine, meth, and fentanyl were dropped. He was left facing just 5 years for a marijuana charge. Durante claims he wasn't selling drugs and that authorities were targeting him because of his fame. He argued he never hung out with people who used cocaine and didn't even know what meth looked like. However, prosecutors claimed they had him on tape talking to a supplier, where he expressed no interest in fentanyl pills. Before his sentence, Quando released a track called Don't Give Up on Me, where he rapped about his struggles, saying he's too solid to fold under pressure. Throughout his career, Quando has made a lot of money through his music, and despite the legal issues, he has a dedicated fan base. After gaining some buzz, Quando signed with NBA YoungBoy, which helped his career skyrocket. In an interview with Vlad TV, Quando shared that YoungBoy gave him $1 million and never made a dime off of him.
You said that YoungBoy gave you $1 million, and as long as you've been signed to NBA, he's never made a dime off of you.
For sure.
That's crazy.
Quando Rondo was making real money through his music without needing to go back to the streets, and many believe he was charged just because he's a rapper. But in February 2024, he was arrested again for a DUI and reckless driving. It seemed like things were spiraling for Quando, but he eventually turned his life around. He got sober, converted to Islam, and even forgave the people who tried to kill him. Most people know Quando was linked to King Von's death in 2020. The feud between NBA YoungBoy and King Von on social media escalated, leading to Von's murder and a bounty being put on Quando's head. After Von's death, Quando knew he was a target. In 2021, someone tried to take him out while he was in Georgia. After a nightclub show, Quando and his crew stopped at a store, and a shooter opened fire on them. Fortunately, Quando wasn't hit, but one of his homies got shot in the hand. Then, in 2022, a similar situation occurred when one of King Von's associates allegedly tried to kill Quando and instead murdered his cousin, Lil Pop. Quando, Lil Pop, and his sister were driving in LA when they were followed by shooters. When they stopped at a gas station, 3 shooters opened fire, killing Lil Pop. Quando survived the attack, but his cousin didn't. In 2024, Lil Durk and some of his affiliates were arrested in connection to Lil Pop's murder, though many had suspected Durk's involvement from the start. One of the first signs was that OTF knew Lil Pop was shot in the head before anyone else. Lil Durk had ties to a Rolling 60s Crip from LA named Brick Baby, and while Quando reps the Rolling 60s in Savannah, he has tensions with some West Coast Crips. On the track Aha, Lil Durk raps about possibly setting up Quando's homie and switching on him. In another track, Same Side, Durk mocked Quando by rapping about how Quando and his crew were laughing when people died, but eventually, it turned to crying when it was their turn. Durk and Brick Baby have been close for years, and in an interview, Brick Baby made it clear that Durk's enemies were also his.
If my boy lose a close homie, that's my boy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my boy. I'm not from BD. I'm from 60s. But you lose you my boy, like my ops, your ops at this point.
Brick Baby added more fuel to the rumors when he dropped a track with OTF and WS. In the song, he raps, "Tell Smirk I need a perk, I'm gonna ride like them killers do, I heard they claiming 60, have them real hoods get at you." Brick Baby was clearly referring to the hit on Lil Pop, and he even hinted at his involvement in the situation. His lyrics sparked more speculation about his ties to Lil Durk and the ongoing tensions with Quando Rondo.